everyone. This is the continuation after my video on the cons of Korean unification. So this will be the pros, and I will just go straight into it. My first point for pros in Korean unification is safety. Because North Korea always send nukes, but if we reunite, then that won't be a problem anymore. Of course, under Korean law, South Korean law. But there will be more safety, and people can live worry-free, no more nukes, and because of this, there will be less political problems and all this commotion that happens in the peninsula. So safety. Other one would be every single man will not be military will not be mandatory anymore, including in North Korea. They have to spend 10 years in the military. Here we have to spend 2 years, which is still bad. So doing this, the reason why we do mandatory military is because of North and South Korea. But if we reunite, there's no need, and people can live a better life. That's another pro. Another pro is that there's a big problem in South Korea of not having enough jobs, and a lot of young people do not have the opportunity to get a job. If we reunite, there will be tons of more job and opportunity to to earn some money and stop living and not living in your parents' house anymore. Since there will be more, a lot of companies will come from the global and South Korean companies will come there. And a lot of South Korean people get more jobs, and the North Koreans there can also create more jobs. The North Koreans there are not stupid, right? They're still Korean people, and they can create a new Samsung or new Kia or new revolutionary global company like Samsung, or even a better one. Who knows? Since we reunite, we will have a bigger population. That means some more smart people that can make our economy grow better. And if that smart North Koreans can make jobs, then a lot of South Koreans can move up there to get jobs. Along with that, if we reunite, there will be much more land, right? So the housing market in South Korea is extremely bad. Like Seoul's housing market is like right after Hong Kong's, which is really bad. Like the housing prices in Seoul are way too high for the average income in South Korea. That's a big problem. But since there's so much free land and land that's empty, we can make housing will be cheap. Also, so people can actually move there. So we can make people want to move there too because of the housing is cheap, and the homelessness or like kids staying at the parents' house will decrease because the job opportunity there and the housing there is all good. So job opportunity and homes is another one. And since North Korea barely has any infrastructure, and even if it does, it's extremely bad. They really didn't build a lot of things. There will be a fresh new start to build a great another country, because we can learn from all the other countries' mistakes. And if we imply that, if we put big cities in the north, we can make it as good as we possibly can. There's so many great energy saving inventions that can make people not need to pay for energy anymore, and we can make roads where cars are not needed, and it's extremely good for bikes. And there will be like 4 different types of public transportation, like underground subway, trams, and like even cable cars. People can ride bicycles. People can ride, those things that like the things that carry like 4 people on wheels and like 1 person's driving and all the other 4 pedaling. We can learn from other countries and make great infrastructure. Since we're starting fresh, we can make it as great as we possibly can. Make it so that the education's good and not like add stress to people. Make it so that the places are clean and it will be energy efficient, and that there will be no more pollution. Make it so that there will be no traffic or no need for cars. So all the problems in this world, we can fix it because we're starting new. Also, fresh air. In Pyongyang, there isn't fresh air, but everywhere else, it is extremely, extremely fresh. So people who don't like the, you know, the big, chunky, and like fine dust-filled air that makes you suffocate in Seoul, but you still like a big city vibe, you can move to a new North Korean city that a government built with fresh air, and it will be great. And lung cancer will go down too. And since there's more land, there'll be more places to explore. Uh, and of course, Pyongyang cold noodles. Everyone loves, well, not everyone, but still, it's very famous in South Korea, and everyone wants to try it. And it'll be great because then people can try it. Uh, Easier trade. We can build a train through it so we can trade easily with Russia and China. So trade will be much more easier, and a larger economy. We will have a larger economy because obviously we have more people, we have more smart minds, we have a bigger workforce, and that will just basically add on to our GDP, and it will all be really great. And large companies, if government puts tax incentives on countries, on companies who put their headquarters in the northern part, then then a lot of global companies will come here, employ more people from the north and the south, and make the economy better. And like I said before, North Koreans can also make another company as big as Samsung or Kia and Lotte, and make our economy bigger too. And we will have a stronger military. There's a lot of nuclear scientists in North Korea who know the secret while the South is still trying to figure it out. If we reunite, they will share the secret. We can build more nukes. We can also build ultra sciencey military stuff like war robots or lasers. We could be ahead of the world in terms of military. And since we have a bigger population, we will, even if military is not mandatory, we will still have an extremely large and strong military. And because of that, we will not be looked down on. Since the dawn of the Korean Age, a lot of countries looked down on us. But now, if we reunite, that's not anymore. Also, companies in the South, like Hyundai or fried chicken franchises or alcohol franchises, if we reunite, they have a chance to expand to the North and like build a lot of their businesses there too. So that will be good for them. So they will obviously want it too. Since we have a fresh start, we can make co-housing, which basically is like these tiny communities where these neighbors can get close together. They have this middle place where they can hang out, cook together, eat together, and there's already examples of that. And search it up, co-housing. Basically, it's made a lot of people more happy. Therefore, this big problem in Korea is suicide and social polarization. With this, it will almost force them to hang out with their neighbors, and it will make them more happy and less suicidal, and and they'll stop like being antisocial. Uh, and most importantly, this is the most important thing. It's illegal to be Christian in North Korea, and if you look on the websites, if you search up the worst countries to be Christian in, North Korea is continuously the worst place to be Christian, and you'll get killed. But if we reunite, it'll be a perfect opportunity to share the gospel to 25 million people who have never heard of Jesus, and we could share the gospel to them, and I bet millions will accept Jesus Christ, and it'll be a great day for the kingdom of heaven. And we will also be less dependent on importing. We have to import our food. That is way too bad. But since we got more land, we can grow our own food, and be less dependent on trade. And because North Korea has so many mountains, there can be ski resorts. There can also be beaches. Now that is at the end of my list. There will be much and much, much more pros.